Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I want to start off with Leo and Craig for a minute. So Leo comes over there to try to fix things, to try to get, Craig to take him back. And, at the end of it, all the talk in the world really didn't matter. All the little nice moments that he brought up, as far as rubbing his feet when he got home from work, the laughter that they shared, the fact that Leo has never apologized for anything in his life, and this was the first time that he's done it. And just re-emphasizing the fact that it may have started off as a con, but he did fall in love with him. Throughout all of that, Craig still didn't take him back because he broke his trust. Although I do feel like over time he might be able to gain it back, and he probably would have wound up taking him back. But I think the way the whole events really happened was that this was over a course of a night, like last night. He came to him the next day and was like, "Hey, listen, yada 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 yada. Could you take me back?" And it's like, bro, it's literally been like one day. Um, According to like how a lot of people were describing it in the episode. Um, Now one of the things I did like about their scene was the moments that they had when Leah was like, "Do you hate me?" And Craig said he didn't hate him. And he really thanked him for bringing Craig out of his shell for the first time in a long time. Craig felt happy being his true self. And that's something that he thanked Leo for. And I really did appreciate that because, yeah, um, they're not going to get back together or whatever, but he did take away that. Out of the humiliation, out of the hurt, out of the anger, he did get to sit there and walk away with that, knowing that in some way, Leo did make his life better. Leo is not happy, and at some point, he runs into Brady and Sonny, and he pretty much vows revenge on both of them. He's already getting his revenge on Chad. Chad is pissed off, and Chad wants to sue. He wants to sue the invader for, slander. But Sonny's like, bro, technically you can't do that because a lot of the stuff he was meant to saying in the article, more or less, was true. Him being drunk, coming over there, asking Leo for sex, the drag queen show, all that stuff was true. So Sonny was like, technically you can't really sue. At one point, Chad was upset with Sonny for roping him into this whole thing. Hell, even afterwards, even after Sonny left, Chad kept getting calls from people asking him questions about the article and everything like that. I was like, bro, you probably gonna have to sit there and change the number. You're gonna have to change the number at this point. Now, Nancy was sitting there talking to Bonnie and talking about the wedding, talking about Clyde, being upset with Clyde for practically more or less ghosting her. Runs into Clyde, completely upset. He's like, why'd you sit there and ghost me? Why'd you never call me back or anything like that? And at first, more or less, Clyde was sitting there talking to her about the devil business, about, um, Ben being locked up in the Americrypt. And she didn't buy any of it. She felt insulted. She was like, yo, listen, if you don't want to be with me, just tell me that. Don't sit there and make up some crazy, insane story. But once Clyde showed her the article and everything like that, she was like, oh, my bad. She felt bad for him. See her being, missing and everything like that. She felt bad for him. But Clyde was like, nah, it's cool. Listen, let's sit there and talk about this over lunch. They could sit there and have their first official date. They run into Chloe. And Chloe acts like Chloe. Okay, Chloe's like, no, you can't sit there and be with him because he's next con and he was in jail. And I'm like, Chloe, did you not learn your lesson from the last time you were sitting there meddling with meddling your family's, relationships? Now, granted, with the whole um Leo thing, her heart was in the right place. And in a lot of ways, she did, not even a lot of ways, she did do him a favor. Because initially, um, in the beginning, Leo was going to sit there and take him to the cleaners. So more or less, she actually did do him a favor, and her heart, at the end of it, was in the right place. And even though it's the same thing with Nancy and Clyde, even after Nancy was like, yeah, I know about him being in jail. He told me, like, it's cool. And they're about to sit there and proceed on another day. And she's all like, oh, well, over my dead body, this, that, and the third. Now, don't get me wrong, Clyde has done some terrible things. But, you know, Nancy more or less knows what she's walking into. And it's not her job to sit there and tell her who she should and shouldn't, who she should and shouldn't be with. Again, you think you would listen, you would learn your lesson the first time. So after Nancy and Clyde leave, Chloe's like, it's like deja vu over again. I'm like, yeah, it is. And you're still you're still doing the exact same thing. And of course, Brady gives his idiotic answer of, oh well, I was with you for the whole Leo thing, and I'll be there to support you with Nancy. And I'm like, what, whatever. Again, I'm not really feeling Chloe these days, and the more that she starts to act like that, the more I'm just like, what? In partial, I am looking forward to Leo. Well, let's put it this way. I'm not going to be feeling bad for Chloe when Leo gets his revenge because he's planning on getting revenge on everybody, and she is no exception. Gwen. Abby and Jen, come into the interrogation room with Jack and tell her all about her confession of killing Laura. Now, of course, at this point, Um, Gwen pretty much tries to backtrack it, pretty much not saying that she did it out of anger. She did it to get back at Abby for ruining her wedding and everything like that. They go back and forth, and Abby leaves, and Jen is like, "Yo, listen, I'm gonna support you as far as whatever decision that you make. But as far as our family is concerned, I don't trust her. I don't trust her into letting her in our family ever again." And Gwen asked the question of, with everything that's going on, knowing this new evidence or knowing this new accusation, are you still going to walk away from me? Are you actually going to walk away from me now? And Jack gives this answer of, yeah, you're my daughter, but everything that you did, at this point, I just don't see how we can really be family. And more or less kind of walks away. Now, I do kind of look at that as a somewhat ambiguous answer because he didn't flat out say, I'm disowning you, I'm done with you. This is more of a, I just don't see a way right now that I can get past this. Not fully shutting the door on her. And I know it's probably very hard for him to do because he's a dad, It's just an instinct inside of him to just not be able to fully close off his heart of her. Knowing all the terrible things that she's done, you know? But I think it's one of those situations where you look at it and you're just like, sometimes you have to love somebody from a distance. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be there for them, that you're not going to care for them, but you can't be in their vicinity. You can't be in their orbit. You can't sit there and get involved with whatever's going on in their lives. And I think more or less Jack is not there taking that approach. I don't feel bad for Gwen at all. I'm at this point, I don't know. Here's the thing. Once she gets sent to jail, to prison, I feel like Gwen's storyline is done. I really do. I feel like her character in some way has kind of ran its course. I don't think that she has the staying power of Kristen. Like Kristen has done some terrible things, but yet she's always doing a whole Carmen Sandiego, constantly that they're getting out of jail, constantly just coming back every now and then. Um, I guess sort of the same thing with Jan Spears, even though I would take Gwen over Jan any day of the week. But my point is, I just don't know if there's enough staying power to have Gwen stay. Now, I did forget to sit there and mention that at some point Craig does talk to Chloe and tells her that she's leaving Salem. He never was really fond of the way that he got his job from Kayla. And to be honest, I look at this whole thing. One second. I look at this whole thing because Craig just didn't say that he resigned. He gave his termination. His resignation or whatever. And now at this point, I feel like the hospital is going to sit there and hire Kayla back, not because she's a great doctor or a great chief of staff or anything like that, but it's more out of the fact that, well, he left, so we need somebody, and I guess you'll do. Like, Kayla didn't get the job back because he asked her to, because she's the right person for the job. She's only getting her job back because there's vacancy in that field right now. And that sucks. That sucks. I still don't like the fact that Craig didn't get fired for something that Kayla did. And Marlena still gets to keep her job, even though that the board probably doesn't want her to be there. This whole thing is just out of order, and I feel like in some ways Craig leaving is kind of somewhat of a fix. Not really, but that's their attempt at trying to fix a situation that is perplexing and just not even wrong, but doesn't really make a lot of sense in the first place. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that at some point Abby did sit there and come back and try to get the truth out of Gwen, which I don't really understand why, because she didn't give you the truth the first time. Um, when y'all kind of interrogated her and she was backtracking, she was all like, "Oh, I did it out of spite." But she came back there, and Gwen was like, "No, I'm not gonna tell you. You'll never know, and it's gonna kill you. And Karma's a bitch." And I'm like, "Sweetheart, she gets to sit there and live her best life, and you're going to jail." So I don't understand how that's a revenge, but whatever. I honestly felt like Abby going back to sit there and confront her again was just a pointless scene that I don't want to sit there and say served no purpose, but was just kind of stupid. Like, you honestly think that she was going to sit there and tell you the truth? Why? What possible incentive does she have to sit there and be honest with you? I mean, it's not like they're going to sit there and really try her again. The whole double jeopardy and everything. But then again, in these soap operas, they tend to just kind of be like whatever as far as the law and things of that nature goes. So who knows? I feel like that's about it for the most part. I really do. I also did this video twice. What is this? Well, yeah, it's the second time I'm doing this video. I just didn't like how the first one came out, and I felt like it was just way too long. Like, it got to the point where it was like 20 something minutes, and I felt like I didn't really add too much of anything. I just kept just babbling. So I do apologize if I missed anything the second, throughout this video. I didn't like how the first video came out, and I just was like, I'm not just gonna put out anything, you know, because I respect the people that watch my videos. I love the show, and I want to sit there and always try to do these reviews justice in a sense. So if I don't like how the first video comes out, I'm just not gonna put it out regardless. Um, just for the sake of just putting something out. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.